Aloha to everyone. Sit comfortably on your barges and let's see what we will learn in Vizima.
This bard's tale begins near White Orchard, with my dear friend Geralt of Rivia seeking his lover of yore, the sorceress Yennefer. She'd eluded him for years, but now seemed just a few steps ahead. After many trials and tribulations, Geralt finally learned that Yen was in nearby Vizima.
A shame I have no time.
Black suits the gentleman. Does the outfit satisfy the gentleman?
A studded doublet and a sword on my back, that's what would satisfy me. But tough, when in Nilfgaard.
Yes.
It's a saying. So what now? Powder my nose?
No need. The gentleman's complexion is light enough. The gentleman is to stand before the ruler of the North and South. I must confirm that he knows how to bow.
I'm not some boor. I know how to bow.
Please, demonstrate. That, sir, is how you might bow to a whore on a street corner, not to the Emperor of Nilfgaard. Please watch. Leg extended, hand flat, head down, chin to chest. The gentleman will rehearse.
Gotta be kidding.
Not at all. I am mortally serious. Does the gentleman know the penalty for breaches of etiquette in the Emperor's presence? 200 lashes. I do not wish that upon him, so I will not let him leave until I am confident that he knows how to behave.
This is ridiculous.
Lacking fluidity and grace. But we've learned to expect less of Nordlings. Come with me. The gentleman will address the Emperor only when asked to, and using the appropriate title.
Your arch-magnificency?
I see the gentleman is in the mood for jests. I fear the Emperor might not share his disposition. Your Majesty will suffice. Spoken loudly, clearly, and with respect. Imgrimi eb art ketzer. Dijfen aden in karn eb marvoet. Emir var emreis.
Bow! Your Imperial Majesty.
Arer ep the orde.
Weljen namen, wat gern verwort. So many months at Foltest Court, yet you still haven't mastered the basics of etiquette.
Know what they say? Can't teach an old wolf new tricks. Take it you didn't summon me to reminisce about the good old days, so...
Silence. My daughter Cirilla, she's returned. And she's in danger. The Wild Hunt pursues her. You will find her and bring her to me.
Are you sure? Ciri left. Went far, far away.
Do you believe I drag you here in the middle of a war to discuss a rumor?
I think anyone can be wrong, even an emperor.
I had forgotten how insolent you can be. I haven't the time to convince you, nor the desire, in fact. Yennefer will do that after the audience.
How many men in your army? 20,000? 30? So why me?
You know why. Because she trusts you.
She trusts me, yes. So tell me why you're looking for her. Doubt it's about making up for all those lost years.
For reasons of state, as always. Enough of this banter. You will agree regardless. If for no other reason than because I shall pay you. More than you customarily receive for a contract. Considerably more.
Save your generosity for those whose homes your armies have razed. I'll do it for Ciri, not for your gold.
Your motives do not interest me. Only results. Yennefer will tell you the rest. This audience is finished. Mererid! Take him to the sorceress.
Did the gentleman not understand? Did I not emphasize adequately that one must bow to the Emperor?
Relax, nothing happened.
To the gentleman. But I shall be punished.
How?
Please keep close and bother no one. We've had enough breaches of etiquette for one day.
Calm yourself.
What? Do you know who you're talking to, soldier? I'm Herivard II, Prince of Elander. Not only am I made to wait here like some supplicant, but with who for company? A tinter.
Tanner. Master of the Tanners Guild?
As if it makes a damn difference. I demand...
Calm down. The Emperor demands silence. Those who disturb face harsh punishment, no matter their birth.
Vizina var Novigrad?
Ja, nee. Raadsliden enekt es tun es saur an nein fire.
Es ziet efsat. Finser nein mathenk. Nein kofhotel an emf pavar.
Es frag. Kiaside.
Duft. Visse voor atra es paesa. Tete takeen en kalant nes of Valoisau. Eptusan?
Mind if I interrupt?
Why not join in instead?
We're discussing neutrality. How difficult it is to preserve.
Still worth trying.
Because?
Because there are few causes worth serving, even fewer men. Enough about that. Mind if we change the subject? So, talk to the Emperor.
Why did he summon you?
So not even you know.
No. But I wager it's an ordinary witch's contract.
Some werebubs. See ya.
Soon, mind you.
Request.
Is för det.
Evelyn, katta as. Tre glädjede. Össervatgön.
Esma streiken epfoltast in de kranen.
Es ist en wat gen geralt. Evios kenes in Bale. Es ist sant. Es war Nodling.
Allied.
Evain Kersher is Daithwin Adden in Khan at Morford.
Vavot.
Kin veg renegat, en selfit den kamp. Esse flenten et not makke. En selfit den sikjan. Kasper ken velende.
Once the gentleman is done, he should see me to retrieve his possessions.
Not
sharpened yet. Yes? Then transcribe. The true authority in Novigrad is not the city council or the merchants' guild, but the Church of the Eternal Fire and the criminal underworld. At times it is difficult to tell the one from the other. They both display a similar ruthlessness and cynicism that...
Please wait, Your Excellency. I'm falling behind.
You know what? I'll write the report myself. You'll need only prepare a clean draft. In triplicate.
Vizima. Direct.
Geralt, that tunic. You look positively smashing.
Ugh, dying to take it off.
I'd consider that a proposition under different circumstances. One I might even take you up on. But we've matters to attend to. Now do you understand why I'm at Emir's court?
Mm-hmm. And seems we're in the same boat now. Ciri, she's really back? No chance he's mistaken?
Look, that's more or less what she looks like now. Or so our agents claim. Our little witch has grown into a young lady.
So they're our agents now? My, you've clearly settled in quick.
Geralt, don't twist my words. I know who Emir is. He started this war and its bloodshed. He had my friends killed. But I haven't any other choice. So please, let's not belabor the pros and cons and instead focus on finding Ciri. All right?
Right. Emir said the Wild Hunt's after her. I'd find that hard to believe before what happened yesterday. How did they track us down?
Because of me. You see, I've spent months searching for Ciri, using locating spells, haruspicy, geomancy, anything, really. I knew the Wild Hunt might sense it, perhaps even find me, but I thought I'd tricked them.
Well, guess you were wrong.
I've sensed them on my trail, hunting me, for some time. If not for you and Emir's soldiers, they'd have gotten what they were after. I can't risk another encounter like that. It's time to put away the magic, turn to more traditional methods. To the best tracker I know. You must find her, Geralt. Before the Wild Hunt does.
The Wild Hunt? What could it want from Ciri?
I've no clue, Geralt. Might have written them to ask, but I don't have their address. I know as much as you do. It must be about her blood. Her gift. As for what the Hunt wishes to do with that gift, I prefer not to think about it, really.
So where's Ciri been seen, exactly?
In two places. Velen and Novigrad. The trail in Velen is most promising. You should make that your first stop. Ask for a merchant named Hendrik at the inn at the crossroads. One of the Emperor's agents. He should get in touch with you.
That's it? No passwords, secret handshakes?
None. Sorry to spoil your fun. Your boyhood fantasies about the crafts of the trade. All we have in Novigrad are unconfirmed reports, rumors. But there you will have the help of our mutual acquaintance. Triss Merigold. Apparently she's got a cozy flat on the main square.
Sure she'll be delighted to see me. What about you? What will you do?
I shall sail for Skellige. There was a magic explosion there recently, blew half a forest down. I believe this had something to do with Ciri. I'll be in Caer Trold. Join me there once you've learned something.
One thing before we go. Why didn't you contact me? Didn't need me? Didn't even want to see me?
I didn't want to spoil things. I'd heard you and Triss made a great couple.
Yen, I'd lost my memory.
Really? That's your excuse? Let's drop it, all right? It's not what you think, or it helped me understand how much I love you. I don't wish to hear it. Any of it.
Guess this means we need to split up again. Not my preference, but I understand. Clock's ticking.
It is indeed. So why don't I teleport you to Vel and get you there at once?
Not gonna happen. I'll go on horseback as soon as I can get changed.
Have it your way? Oh, and you really look quite dashing in black velvet.
Think so? Maybe I can have some of my armor lined with it. Good luck, Yen.
Same to you. And if you wish to learn what's happened in the world while you and Vesemir roamed the wilderness, talk to Ambassador Varatra. That's him over there. And Geralt, I know it's wartime, but try not to be a hero, all right? Just check those leads and come back to me, in one piece. I shall be waiting.
Cure Well. Important potion that allows us to stay longer underwater. Sword for witches, nothing interesting. Let me... Yes, the last wish. Human life requires three things for its sustenance. Food, drink and gossip. It is thus no wonder that no matter where I travel, be it icebound Povis or evergreen to Zand, everyone asks me about the passions that bind Geralt and the sorceress Yennefer of Vengerberg. As a man both cautious and discreet, I refuse to betray their secrets, with one important exception. The history of their first encounter is so extraordinary, so romantic and moving, that it would be a veritable crime to hide its light beneath a bushel basket. Indeed, had I not witnessed these events in person, I would never believe there was room in our grim and dark world for such fantastic marvels. It all began when Geralt and I were feeling a bit pettish and, unburdened by heavy coin pouches, decided to fish our supper out of a lake. No bites were to be had, but we didn't leave empty-handed. My hook snagged quite a lovely little pot. Oblivious to my friend's warnings, I opened it, and in doing so, freed a powerful djinn. Without giving it much thought, I set about proclaiming my wishes. Before I could get to tree, however, the djinn, irritated, I see now in hindsight, at being issued demands so soon after waking, began to throttle me. Geralt was able to drive him on, but I was in a sorry state. I acted, the Witcher told me later, as though under the influence of some curse. Clearly, the help of an expert in the magic arcana would be needed. It was our good fortune that Yennefer of Vengerberg happened to be staying in a nearby village. Geralt went to her to ask that she heal his best friend, who happened also to be the brightest star in the North Sky firmament. Yennefer, however, was more interested in the djinn, which she wanted to trap into magic servitude, than its victim, and, it should be said, played the Witcher like a well-strung mandolin. Yet, rather than grow angry at being used in such a calculating manner, he fell white head over muddy boots in love with her. What happened then? Well, I won't go into details. Suffice to say that Yennefer's plans hardly delighted the djinn, and without its cooperation she proved unable to tame it. The sorceress would surely have met a tragic end and taken all along with her, had Geralt not rushed to her rescue. For once, he didn't need to draw either of his blades. To send the djinn packing, he had but to pronounce the third and final wish. He could ask for anything, wealth, fame, power, but instead, he asked the djinn to bind his fate to that of the arrogant yet intriguing sorceress from Vengerberg. Julian Alfred Pancratz, Viscount of Lettenhof, born 1232, award-winning poet, playwright, and troubadour, performer at the courts of Vizima, Wenslaw, and many other nobles and notables. Alumnus of Oxenford Academy, was known as Dandelion.
Scars healed nicely.
The collected verse of Conzo de Versico. Love. To love is to build a house of cards or play a game of chess. But one wrong word or ill-thought move, and you must start it all afresh. Tide. Whenever I watch the tide recede, cold coils of fear grip round my heart. Will the seas sneak back, calm and sure, in the dark of night as they have before? Or will they stay on distant shores, leaving crushed shells and washed up dreams as memory of serfs of yore? Lord for witches, we have one, but let me see this. Let me read it. Who are the hunters, you ask? All like you and yours, I reply. The decent kind, haters of lies, doers of good. The kind who live according to the gods' laws and nature laws too. Those disgusted by the machinations of witches, magicers and non-humans. All that separates us from common folk is that we have the courage to take up arms, to defend ourselves from evil, to slice out the gangrene that eats us from within. This book is a sword for witches, not for witchers. That's why it is so offensive to the witches. We haven't a leader, we haven't ports or land. Though God-fearing Radovit supports us with his goat at times, we have not sworn him nor any other ruler any oath. We serve only the eternal fire, and we listen only to our own consciousness. Who can join us? Any who is right of soul and sound of body. You can find us in every larger city in the north. We will give you board, lodging, and a weapon. We will explain how to spot the telltale signs of evil. Birthmarks in strange and arcane shapes, smooth skin on a matron aged more than 30 springs, and black cats kept in the yard, no name but a few. To name but a few. We will show you how to defend yourself from witchcraft, how to tame and snuff out magic elements with dimerithrium. We will instruct you how to squeeze the sinner's darkest secrets out of them with a hot iron, and how to grant them cleansing death with the help of sacred fire. Religion. Fanatics. The Wild Hunt. From farmers and herdsmen, milkmaids to midwives, all the common folk of the continent whisper, sharing tales of a rately procession pounding across the sky. The Wild Hunt, they call it. Winds and gales, storms and blizzards arise when it is sighted, and all grows cold, though the sun shone bright moments before. Some remember only the cold from the shock of the encounter, and claim the riders come always in winter. But nay, this not so. The hunt brings its own ice. Like the winter is coming on the Game of Thrones. I forgot how was the enemy called in the Game of Thrones. Never mind. That and war gallop in its wake, or so the superstition goes. Yet evil enough is the hunt itself. It takes folk captive, youths, most often in the prime of their wilding years, with 10 to 20 summers behind them. The hunt rushes in and they disappear, only to return long years later with no memory of what passed in the time between. It seems like an alien abduction. Letter to Yennefer. Yennefer, my dear friend, thank you for your letter. Forgive me for not answering your earlier attempt to reach me via Megascope. I am trying to limit my magic communication to the absolute minimum. One never knows who is listening, don't you agree? I am delighted you have found a position at our gracious Emperor's court and wish you the best of luck in the search for his daughter. It is good to know that Emir's intention for her have become more, how shall I put it, mundane. Perhaps in these circumstances, agreement regarding the lodge will prove possible, after all. In response to your first question, I can state beyond all doubt that Ciri hasn't appeared anywhere south of the Yoruga. I could recognize her magic signature in my sleeve. I haven't had any contact with Triss for a long time. I only know that things in Novigrad have taken a new turn. She mentioned something earlier about fleeing to Kovir, but I'm afraid that in the current political climate, that amounts to an impossible daydream. I hope I will soon be able to join you in Vizima. First, however, I must take care of some unfortunate yet urgent matters in Buclair, Tuzan. With my fondest regards, Fringilla Vigo. Oscar. Thank you for the news about Geralt. He always seems to land on his feet, doesn't he? Royal lineages of the North. Ciriwa Fiona Ellen Rhiannon, born in 1251, heiress to the throne of Sintra, Princess of Bruges and Duchess of Sodden, heiress to Innis Art Skellig and Innis Anne Skellig, and suzerain of Ather and Ab Yara, daughter of Pavetta, see Pavetta Fiona Ellen, and the Urshion of Erwenwold, see Emir Var Emrys, granddaughter of the famous lioness of Sintra, Queen Calanthe. If you was watching the Witcher series on Netflix, you would know the story childhood of Ciri. A shipwreck occurred during a journey from Sintra to Skellige, which took the lives of the Urshion and Pavetta. Ciri's further upbringing was then entrusted to her grandmother. In 1216, afraid of the looming Nilfgaardian threat, Queen Calanthe sent Ciri to the court of King Ervil, where the heiress of Sintra was to marry the heir to the throne of Verden, Prince Kistrin. Though allying with Verden and gaining the aid of that realm's army was at the time Calanthe's top priority, no marriage ever occurred and Ciri returned to her grandmother's court. In 1262, during the so-called Sintra massacre, Ciri went missing. And here's She Who Knows. Very important book, ladies and gentlemen. She Who Knows. Folks say there were four at first. The mother, She Who Knows, the Lady of the Wood, came here from a faraway land, and since she suffered terribly from loneliness, she made 3 daughters out of dirt and water. A long, long time ago, the mother was sole ruler of all of Velen. The daughters brought her the people's requests and served as her voice. Each spring, sacrifices of grain, animals, and men were made to the Lady of the Wood on her special night. Yet as the years passed, The Lady of the Wood slipped deeper and deeper into madness. Her madness eventually spread over the land. Men took to abandoning their homes and setting out into the bog, where they became food for beasts. Before long, Velen was drowning in blood. Daughters saw their land nearing destruction and took it upon themselves to save it. When spring came once more, and with it the night of sacrifices, they killed their mother and buried her in the bog. Her blood watered the oak atop Ard Servin, and from then on the tree grew wholesome and hearty food for the people. As for the lady's immortal soul, it refused to leave its beloved land and so the sisters imprisoned it. To this day, it lies trapped beneath the whispering hillock, where it thrashes about in powerless rage. A portrayal of the elder races. What is a non-human? The answer is simple. As the very name suggests, it is something which resembles and yet nevertheless is not a human. Though it walks on two legs, speaks a tongue similar to our own, and dresses in similar attire, it all the same has more in common with base beasts than noble men. Dwarfs are like moles. They feel best underground and avoid direct sunlight. They like to live in filth, forever smudging themselves in mud and slime. They love everything that can be found within the earth. Rocks, metal, minerals of all shape and color. It is also said that, like their kindred moles, they feed most readily on worms, roaches, and night crawlers. Halflings, for their part, are more reminiscent of gophers, fat, lazy, and loud. In that typical rodent way, their minds are filled only with thoughts of food and drink, which they steal from other, nobler beasts and greedily squirrel away in their hovels. They are marked by a cruel craftiness. You could be dying of hunger, and they wouldn't share a meal with you. You could be howling from poverty, and they could be swimming in gold, and yet they would still fleece you to the last crown. You could do nothing but good to them, and they would still stab a knife in your back. Elves, in turn, seem related to the birds of prey that dwell in far-off Zerikania. They care most for coward feeders. They would most readily spend all day staring at their reflections in the water and singing their own praises. They are so awash in self-love that they no longer feel any desire towards members of the opposite sex of their own species. Their appearance, unquestionably pleasant to the eye, is highly misleading, for they are extraordinarily cruel, and any who judge them by looks alone they first dupe and then kill in cold blood. Best proof of this? The so-called Scoia'tael, bandits that claim to fight for freedom, but only want to kill humans. All these vile so-called elder races are, to our great fortune, slowly dying out. Joy fills the heart of every right-thinking man at the thought that his grandchildren never know them, that in their day, dwarves, orphans, elves will be mere fairy tale characters used to scare young, impressionable children.
Ambassador Varatra, Yennefer suggested I ask you about current events, the war and so on.
Of course. The Emperor's servants should keep no secrets from each other. If you will, let us approach the map.
How's the war going? apart from the fact that Nilfgaard's triumph is imminent?
I assume this to be a private conversation. We've no witnesses, so let's dispense with the propaganda, even that shrouded in irony. Our offensive was going splendidly until winter came. Edirn was in such disarray that we encountered no resistance. We had reached the Pontar before the first snows. Only a weakened Kedwin remained, and Radovid's Redania, which had ignored the rest of the North's pleas for help. We thought they'd sue for peace, perhaps even submit to vassalization. We waited for spring, certain of victory.
Radovid? Submit?
Yes, a vain hope, I agree. Radovid sent no peace envoys, nor did he advance on our positions. Instead, he trudged over the snow-bound Kestrel Mountains and attacked Kedwin, his ally. This attack took the Kedweni by surprise. They were still mourning the loss of their king. Rudderless and dejected, they laid down their arms after a few lost skirmishes and joined Radovid. And so by spring, instead of 2 weak enemies, we had only one powerful one.
What about Kavir?
Kavir values its neutrality, enough not to lend its armies, or more importantly, even its coin to either side. Returning to the war, this spring there was a massive battle in the marshes of Velen. Massive, yet indecisive. Both sides suffered enormous losses, unprecedented even. Radovid has retreated across the Pontar. He's safe for now, until reinforcements arrive from the south. Then Emperor Emir var Emrys will deal with him once and for all.
Couldn't you just go home? Save everyone a lot of marching, not to mention a few human lives.
I'm afraid the stakes are too high to fold now. We can only go all in.
How do things look in Velen?
As bad as ever, perhaps worse. This land never flowed with milk and honey, and now it flows with blood. Armies have swept through it several times, trampling fields, looting granaries, burning villages. Famine grips the populace.
So how's ruling that earthly paradise going for you?
Not well, to be honest. Our forces are spread thin as it is, and Velen is chiefly swampy forests that are difficult to control. We've had several patrols never return to their camps. Thus, we've temporarily delegated authority in this region to a certain Nordling, a former low-ranking officer in the Temerian army, one Philip Strenger, better known by his nom de guerre, the Bloody Baron. I advise you well. Avoid him.
Any news from Novigrad? Is the free city still free?
Yes, although everyone knows this won't last. Radovid is in Oxenfurt, and the Emperor is here in Vizima, at Novigrad's doorstep, both. And both require coin and ships. Novigrad can provide these. Which is why the mood in the city is rather, well, on edge.
Meaning?
How do men deal with fear? They seek reassurance and scapegoats. The Church of the Eternal Fire understands this perfectly, and so it promises to improve the lives of its flock by pointing out the guilty. Who started the war? Who profits from it? Why, it's obvious. Mages, elves, dwarves, in a word, any and all deviants. I've been stationed in Novigrad for 13 years. First as a consul, then as ambassador. I've seen a great deal. Cruelty, cynicism, greed. But what is happening there now concerns me greatly.
What's new in Skellige?
Nothing. The islanders pride themselves on that, don't they? Doing everything according to tradition, as their forefathers did. And like their forefathers, they quarrel with each other, pillage, occasionally attack our transports. This is cumbersome, but nothing more. Skellige has always been a footnote to history, and so it shall remain.
Sound awfully confident. What if King Bran manages to unite the Jarls? lead all the clans against your fleet.
King Bran is a feeble old man. From what I know, he barely remembers the names of his own vassals. Uniting all might prove difficult.
Thanks for your help.
Think nothing of it. May the great sun light your path.
I hope that you have learned a lot about the lands and the people living there. That was the point in reading everything.
How might I serve the gentleman?
By returning my things.
Citrus and cloves. The fragrance will keep the gentleman's robes fresh somewhat longer.
Thanks, bunches.
The Emperor is not known for his patience. He wants his daughter back safe and sound, as soon as possible.
Yeah, mentioned something of the sort. So long.
The exclamation mark here is a Gwent player, but I do not play Gwent in this walkthrough. Thank you for watching. See you soon next time when we will go in Belen, no man's land. You may see how big Belen is, and here is the Novigrad. There will be plenty of activities. Over 50 question marks.
Is Daithwin Adden in Khan at Morwood?
See you soon.